Hello everyone, it's Saturday, February 6th. It's a little bit cloudy outside. It's winter. And here is the latest installment from Pat. That's me, Pat the storyteller. This time it's a story about a kind of funny ending about a farmer named Rowena and a set of cows that happened to be blue, although, yeah. And what she has to do to keep a promise with the maintenance of these cows, and how that story actually ends. Stick around for the end. I'm going to pull another card. What else to say? Thank you, lovely subscribers, for coming back. Thank you, new people, for joining in. And please spread the word. I love telling stories. I love drawing the pictures. I'm Pat, and get you at the end for the fun card reading. Enjoy the story. Enjoy! Once a time ago, there was a poor farmer named Rowena. She didn't have very much, but her land, some crops, and her cows, 10 cows. Now, that might not seem poor, but these cows were a burden to her. You see, she inherited the cows from her father, who during his life was also a farmer. And before he died, he made her promise never to sell the cows. So she had to find the means to feed these 10 cows, to keep them exercised and clean. They were not even dairy cows, so she could not earn anything by selling milk or making cheese or butter. Anyway, one day a fine young man passing by her field admired her cows and offered to purchase them because he thought they looked so splendid. She really worked hard to tend this herd of cows, but she had to turn him down because of her promise to her dear departed father. The man was disappointed, but told her he would not give up on the desire to own the cows. Almost every day he would roll by the farm and admire the grandeur of the herd. Each day, Rowena would grow a bit more uneasy because she was burdened by her care for the herd. One night, in a dream, her father spoke to her. He said, Rowena, I know you feel burdened by your problems, but in time you will understand why it was important to keep your promise. After a year of badgering, the man who wanted to buy the cows was not seen around. He just went away, disappeared just like that. Well, one night a shot rang out across the field and frightened the farmer and the cows. The panicking cows broke open the gate of their shed and stampeded out of it toward the nearby town. Now, the nearby town is where the farmer, Rowena, would regularly go to sell what she grew on her farm: potatoes, yams, carrots, to earn enough to buy hay and feed for the cows. Although she did not always earn enough, she would sometimes owe. So the cows headed into that town, and instinctively settled down at the place where Rowena bought the hay and feed. Maybe it was the familiar smell of the feed and hay that drew them there. When Rowena finally caught up with her stray herd, she was a bit surprised to find them safe and sound at the grain and feed store. She told the owner about the shot that was fired that caused the disturbance and the stampede into town. The feed store owner recommended she report the incident to the authorities, but Rowena knew that one of her neighboring farms had rifles and she didn't want to get into tension with any one of them, so she passed it off as an unfortunate incident because no one was hurt and all it cost was loss of a night's sleep. Well, a month later, more shots, but this time the cows didn't leave the farm because Rowena decided at the time of the first incident to reinforce the barn and locate the cows there at night instead of in their shed. And she always made sure that the barn door was very secure. But the second occurrence meant to Rowena that something was now going on. So she spoke to neighboring farmers, none of whom had cattle but were growing crops, and they said they heard the shots but did not use their rifles. It wasn't any of them. Now, Rowena did not know what to make of the situation, and now she was worried. She could not afford surveillance costs to protect herself and the cows, nor even the cost to investigate to find out who was shooting at her cow barn. Weeks passed, and things were quiet again. Perhaps too quiet, because one morning she awoke to tend her farm and found 3 of her cows were missing. No footprints, no tire tracks, nothing. Nothing to offer a clue for how this happened. Now she had to call the authorities. But of course they said they couldn't do anything about it. They were sorry, they said. She was a victim of predial larceny. The farmer who felt poor before felt even poorer now. Her only consolation was that with fewer cows, she would have to buy less feed and hay. But over time, one by one, all the cows were stolen from the farm, each time to no avail. Each incident brought mixed feelings for Rowena. She was losing her father's legacy, but also the burden of care for the cows she had promised him she would never sell, but now were being mercilessly stolen. One day, a letter arrived in the mail to Rowena. She opened it. Here's what it said. I'm sorry the possession of the cows had to be this way. I tried to buy them from you legitimately, but you would not cooperate, and I had to have them. I just had to have this rare and hardy breed of blue cows, and I could see you struggling to take care of them. You are truly as stubborn as your father was. I hope this $10 million check for the 10 cows will compensate for what I felt I had to do. You can turn me in to the authorities if you can find me, and you can then have the cows back, even the new calves. But ask yourself this. Will you be able to afford to care for them still? Do you even want to be a cattle farmer? Weren't you doing just fine growing your potatoes and yams? I will call your home in 10 days from the date on this check, so you will have time to consider what this means. You can have the cows back and the check will be cancelled. Or you can keep the check and I will keep the cows. If you don't answer the call at precisely 10 a.m., I will know that you accepted the payment and decided to let go of the herd. Sincerely, Sonny Peart, the man who tried to buy your herd and would take no for an answer. Would not take no for an answer. Rowena laid the letter down. She slowly closed her mouth, which had been gaping from the shock. Then she looked at the $10 million payment. 10 days after the date on the check, her phone rang at exactly 10 a.m. It rang and rang and rang and rang. Here we go. Here's the deck that I made with guidance from my spirit guides, the ones I listen to when I write my stories. And let's have a message for my viewers whenever you see it, at whenever time you see it. Let's have a message that will have resonance for viewers in this moment. Please and thank you, my guides. Let's have a look. Go outside. I guess it's good to get some fresh air. Let's all go outside. Have a good day outside. A little good while outside. Wear your mask. Alright, here we go. Thank you.